Hello, everybody, and welcome to PGS Treks. I'm your host, and of course, we have with us today Julian Mushkin. Julian, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to getting back and talking Trek with you. How are you, RM?
I'm doing great too. Yes, of course. I'm so happy that we are doing more PGS Treks, guys. As we've told you, we're going to continue to do PGS Treks into perpetuity. So this is a series that's not going anywhere. We're going to constantly be talking about Treks here on the Post-Geek Singularity right here on the Burnettwork. And we are committed to this. So, Julian, it is Monday, May 22nd when we're recording this. It's probably going to air on Friday at 10 p.m., either 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday on the Burnettwork. Julian, what news have you been hearing about Star Trek?
Well, like you've mentioned to me, you're eagerly anticipating the release of Resurgence. I think you said it was for
Yes.
roleplay and
Yes.
online, and I look forward to hearing how you like the game and a few other things that I looked into to see what was going on. And of course, we've got the writer's strike, and that's really going, to start backing things up as far as stuff goes. Strange New Worlds season 3 is not going to be able to start filming because of the writer's strike, and I think they were looking at starting that shortly. And we do have in terms of Strange New Worlds, the big thing that kind of was really exciting was that they up in Canada, they released a version of the trailer for Strange New Worlds that's coming out in June, and there was this quick shot from the episode. I think they said it was going to be episode 8. That is a crossover event with the animated Lower Decks crew. At least Mariner and Boimler are going to find themselves in the real life world, and the shot that was released and quickly taken down apparently, but people got screenshots of it, showed Pike and Luan on the transporter pad, and standing behind Luan was Mariner, and standing behind Pike was Boimler in their lower decks outfits, which looks really cool. I understand that the actors that voice them are going to be playing them in real life, which is a natural, and I'm kind of excited to see this. I'm interested in see. It's certainly going to be some sort of a little bit of a more comic relief episode that they're saying, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, this is a good one here. And it says that it has, like you said, the teaser with two characters on from Lower Decks on Strange New Worlds. And it says something about if in a sort of blink and you miss it situation, but the shorter teaser shows Jack Quaid and Tawny Newsome in live action on the USS Enterprise transporter pad, along with Captain Pike and Lieutenant Laan Noonien Singh. Spock is also there offering traditional Vulcan greeting. Beckett and Boimler are wearing live action versions of the Lower Decks uniforms. The crossover episode was directed by the Next Generation veteran Jonathan Frakes, who recently told Trek Movie that it is a flat out comic episode. That sounds like it's going to be very funny, Julian.
Yeah. I look forward to that. I'm kind of anticipating that some of the Strange New Worlds cast will end up perhaps crossing into the animated world too. So kind of a back and forth type thing. So that might be fun.
It sounds fantastic. I think we need to see more of this going forward, of all the characters. It's just great to see that crossover, and it's fun. It's fun to see this. So I'm excited for that. What else did you want to talk about in regards to Star Trek news, Julian?
Well, apparently, the showrunner for Strange New Worlds, Akiva Goldsman, was speaking with SFX magazine, and he was hinting at some of the details for the upcoming season, which included, of course, that we've seen in the previews that Lieutenant Kirk, James T. Kirk, will be making a show. He'll be showing up and interacting with some of the crew. That the Gorn will be back, and we saw that. And this that wasn't shown in the trailer was that Jesse James Keitel will be reprising her Captain Angel, Captain Angel role. And so that's, by extension, probably we're going to see somebody playing Cybox, Spock's half-brother. So since that was hinted at in the first season. And as he was talking about this, you know, some of my issues with the show in general are that they're kind of playing around with canon that's already existed from TOS. And so what Akiva said was, we will body check canon when we need to. and that ultimately story wins. And it seemed kind of like an ingenuous remark to me. Maybe he should have been saying, our story wins, as opposed to already established story, which seems kind of weak to me. I mean, we've already had a couple of issues, like because they brought into Pring, I thought not a bad episode. I think she's an interesting character. The way that they're making her, and the way that they are rearranging the relationship as it kind of existed between Spock and her by throwing the stuff in sooner, but because Uhura and Nurse Chapel are on board the Enterprise and no to Pring, then it totally negates what happens in Amok Time in the original series in the second season, because neither of them knew who T'Pring was. When they go, who is, they see her on the screen on the bridge, and they go, she's beautiful, Mr. Spock, who is she? And he goes, that's my wife. And they're like, oh my gosh. So it's like, they don't even know who she is. They've changed that totally. And so he goes on, Akiva goes on to say, but trying to stay within canon is an awful fun exercise and leads to solutions that you might not come up with if you didn't have these boundaries. But it sounds like they're not too concerned about the boundaries in the first place. So it's trying to have his cake and eat it too, it sounds like. But I found that a little rich.
Yeah, it's changing for the sake of wanting to change it or add something new. But I guess we're going to see more and more of this. Unfortunately, I don't know how comfortable everybody is with things like this where they'll change it. I don't know. It's kind of something that I think they were asked to do when they're doing these series, to make subtle changes, and I don't know how comfortable I am with the subtle changes, because it does become confusing in some cases. So they have to almost change origin stories.
Yeah,
and that's going back from the beginning in some cases, the first time you ever even saw the character. In some cases, so that's a major change from the beginning. So it could change a lot in the dynamics of the story. But you make a good point with this, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what other changes are going to be coming down the road. So I can understand the concern about that too. So I have another, I saw this story about just the picket line, and how the Star Trek actors join writers on the picket lines in New York and in LA to support this strike. And this thing says first contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it also says engage writers in equitable contracts. Obviously, that's Jean-Luc.
Yes.
There, some very creative writers, and putting up signs there that are just really almost hilarious in some cases. And they're telling you that the picketing takes place in New York, obviously, in Hollywood there,
Mm-hmm.
and who's joining into the strike. There, this looks more like a just a
Yes.
group photo than a strike. They put the strike things down and just were like, hey, let's take a photo. But it is quite serious situation.
Yeah.
Although the fun nature of their faces, you could not tell this is a strike photo.
Well,
Um,
no, I think it shows that they're there. They know why they're there. They're there for very good reasons, which a lot of Robert included have gone over in quite good detail about what's at stake with this. And that photo is pretty cool. You have if that's the same one that I remember from, yeah, Jerry Taylor and I can't remember his name. The guy who played um, Hugh, yeah, the Borg Hugh. David, no, Del Arco. Yeah, I can't remember his first name. Anyway, they're there, and back here in the corner is the showrunner from Deep Space Nine, and David Gerald is back here. So there's a whole host of people that have worked on Trek, not just writers but actors as well, have been down there on the pickets, uh, hanging out together. I've seen a bunch of them from Enterprise and from like Deep Space Nine and Voyager. They've all been getting together down there and showing support, and of course I think it's of course with the Screen Actors Guild, their time is coming up for their negotiations, and they voted just I think today or yesterday or today on what whether they would strike or not if their conditions were not met, and I have a feeling that they've all voted to strike in case their their negotiation conditions are not met, which I think that we're looking at them taking a strike soon, and shortly after that, the Directors Guild will be negotiating, and if they decide to strike, then there's nothing being produced at all.
Yeah, it's like almost a complete shutdown. One of the signs says boldly here for each other.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other slogans that they've written down on there, certainly showing support and obviously showing the live long and prosper um, symbol. That this many of them are doing that in the picture. It is good to see the support that they have for one another, and this is not a surprise that we're seeing that there. So that is good. So let's hope that things work out and get resolved quickly, because I know they don't really want to be on this strike. Nobody wants to have to go on a strike. So I'm hoping that it does get resolved. But now we're in week number 4, Julian.
Yeah.
Um, I was also going to say, yeah, you did already mention the game. It's there. I mean, I'm looking on here and I'm seeing that it says, hey, it's going to be remarkable. It's saying it's available tomorrow. But like I said, I got nervous as I was telling you. I got very nervous because when I go into my PlayStation 5, I don't see the game downloadable yet. So maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
waiting. Maybe they're waiting till tomorrow. And it says that this on this channel they reviewed it. It immerses you in a fascinating TNG era story. Oh, I can't wait for this. And it says, yeah, May 23rd. That's tomorrow. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stay up till midnight just to see if I can, if it's available. If it is available tonight at midnight, I'll start playing. I'll stream directly to the Burnettwork and to Positive Fandom. And here you can see kind of the storyboard, the story pictures and everything, and how cool it does. It does look very good. I don't want to see any spoil. Better not. I better not. Don't want any. I don't like spoilers, Julian. I want to be surprised through this whole thing and just be like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? So there should be a lot of like, oh my gosh, going on while I'm playing. I want to be immersed into the story, but I also want to be surprised. I want to be surprised. I'm looking forward to the surprises. Yeah, it looks good. It looks really this looks good. It looks good. So let's see what the story is like. And certainly I'm waiting. What is it? Right now it is 10:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gee, what if the game doesn't go live until many hours later? You know what I mean, Julian? I don't know whether it goes live depending upon what time zone, but technically speaking, it's not. I'd have to look on my PlayStation. I don't think it's live yet. I think if it were live, I would have. I'm just going to log back on and keep on the PlayStation and see what happens.
Right.
But yeah, so this fascinated TNG story, it looks amazing. What they've done with obviously the storyline must be amazing. If they're saying this fascinating, it must be remarkable. I can't wait to play it. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that it's going to be tonight that it does. I have no reason not to believe it. It's just very odd that I didn't see it on my PlayStation. So that kind of bothers me a little bit, but it doesn't mean anything. This might just be how they release their game, and that's completely fine with that. So yeah. So Julian, you and I was there any other stories you would like to cover before we go further?
Nope.
Okay. So Julian, you and I are also reading the Star Trek books. We're covering a book called Harbinger, Star Trek Harbinger, and we both agreed to read up to a certain page number. I think it was page number 45 in chapter 5. And guys, this is it's Harbinger, which is Star Trek Harbinger, the book, and I'm just going to show it on here. Now I have the copy I have, Julian, is actually on my cell phone, and it is it's a Kindle. It's like a Kindle version. But you said with the hard copy book, you have a bunch of illustrations that come with it, correct?
Yeah, I have a paperback, but in it does have a little fold out that has kind of like a schematic plans of the station, of Vanguard Station, just kind of like elevation view and that kind of stuff, showing what is on it, where everything is kind of situated on the station, how big it is, that kind of a thing. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound great. Obviously, here it says something like there's one part that says something about the schematics. Actually, it actually says something. I could have sworn
I can try and scan it in and send it to you if you want to see it, or maybe we can find it online somewhere.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I guess I could find it. Bonus diagrams of Vanguard Station. Interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, it's by David Mack. And yeah, so I did read I started to read the book, Julian.
Yay!
I did. I started to read Harbinger. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I would like those schematics. I wonder if I could just find them. I don't know if they must be online somewhere. But yeah, the book, of course, is fantastic. And let's see, schematics. Let's see if I can find it.
I have kind of a quick, précis of the 4 chapters that we read. If I want to, go through it real quick and kind of point out, the kind of the salient points of each chapter for our viewers, if as they're coming along. So, and then we can kind of discuss what we got out of each chapter, if there was things that struck our fancy or we really liked or something like that. Then we could discuss it like that. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, all right. So 4 chapters, first 4 chapters. There's a prologue that begins in 2263, which is shortly before Kirk becomes captain of the Enterprise. The prologue takes place aboard the USS Constellation, which has Commodore Decker still in command, or in command at that point. So his writing feels very authentic to me. I was very easily found myself, picturing in my mind, the feeling of the bridge of the Constellation and hearing his voice, and they're name checking a lot of characters that we were name checked in episode Doomsday Machine. So that was kind of cool. They are in the Ravenar 4 system, or they are around Ravenar 4 in this star system, and they have a biosample that they've taken that Science Officer Masada thinks is incredibly complex as far as gene sequence. It's so complex that the computers on board their starship would take a long, long time to decipher, because it has more than just the GATC, genome codes that the molecules that are in our DNA. So they said, well, we better get this back to Starfleet and see what they have to say. So that's where they go off. So 2 years later, Chapter 1, we open on the Enterprise, pretty much immediately post Where No Man Has Gone Before, dealing with the fact that the things that happened in that episode with Gary Mitchell, and that they are making their way to Vanguard Station for repairs to the damage that they received after going through the edge of the galaxy and coming back. Chapter 2, we find ourselves once again on Ravenar 4. This time we are following a Cervantes Quinn, who seems to be a roguish type of character, who is on a job for an Orion merchant prince named Gantz, who seems to be somebody said, you need to do this job or not, or else. And if you fail, then it's going to be heavy on you. So he's there to steal a sensor screen from a camp of miners on Ravenar 4. He fails because the camp is alerted to his presence, and they give chase. He escapes, and after he escapes, we find out that these are not just miners. They are Starfleet personnel, and they are there doing some sort of a special mission, and they are concerned that they might have been discovered by Klingons. They don't know who it was who was messing around trying to screw around with their screen. So they need to find out very fast. So Chapter 3, we are introduced to Lieutenant Ming Zhang, and he is from Vanguard, and he is on a mission. He has just left Ravenar 4, so whatever his mission is involves whatever was going on with the group on Ravenar 4, and he is working directly for Commodore Reyes, who is the Commodore in command of Vanguard Station. And he is aboard the Sagittarius, which is an Archer-class scout ship, which happens to have a first officer by the name of Clark Terrell, who ends up, if you think about it, Clark Terrell is the same Captain Terrell who will be in charge of the Reliant during the events of the Wrath of Khan, which I thought was pretty cool. I remember coming across that name, and I'm like, Terrell? Clark Terrell? I had to look it up. I mean, I was like, that is the same guy, right? Yes, it is. Memory Alpha even makes sure that we know that it is his same guy. So the Sagittarius beams him over to the Bombay, which is a Miranda-class starship, and then he's on his way to Vanguard Station. Chapter 4 is a very interesting meeting with the Tholian the Tholian Assembly. We find out that their group of they communicate telepathically, and they are very concerned about Federation encroachments in the Ravenar area. And as they are discussing what they are going to do, because they're kind of not of the same mind, and they receive some sort of a psionic telepathic scream that just kind of really stops all the Tholians in their tracks. They seem to know where it came from, and at the end of the chapter, they say they know where it came from, and they know that they have to stop it, whatever it is, at all costs. So that is kind of where we end chapter 4.
Yeah, and I'm glad you explained what chapter 4 was about, because I didn't understand what was going on. I mean, I read it, but I didn't know what was going on in chapter 4. Like, I just looked at it, I said, "What's going on here? What is this?"
I
Um,
it was very interesting. One of the things I really kind of liked about it was the Tholian characters all have, they're in keeping with the naming, how Commander Laskeed was the commander of the Tholian ship from episode 3, the Tholian Web, season 3, the Tholian Web of original series, and so a lot of the Tholian characters have a similar type sounding, the way their name is broken up, but what was also very interesting to me, because they are kind of like a silicate mineral based life form, they all have kind of a color patterns uh, in addition to their name, which almost sound, it's like that's kind of like how they're known, or how they are differentiated, between the different, characters, the different Tholians, and that they can kind of adjust their color temperature to signal how they are feeling, whether they're siding with one person, or one Tholian or another. I thought that was kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's the same old type of issues that you have with politics, where you have a governing body, and some of them are like, we're being encroached on and we need to do something about it, and the others are like, I don't know, do we really care about what's happening in that area, because we've always gone in the opposite direction of where things are happening. In this Ravenar area, it seems to be, kind of a crux area, a little central area between the Tholians, the Klingons, and the Federation. And the Tholians are very concerned. Some of them are very concerned about, the Klingons and now the Federation. And some Tholians are like, well, why don't we just let the Klingons and the Federation, work it out between themselves, and then we won't have to worry about it. And then they're like, what if it kind of like spills over? We don't know if we want to do that. And then this psionic pulse comes out and stops them in their tracks, and they go, nope, we got to do something about this. So it's all working towards, some sort of. I like it. I'm liking it so far.
I'm glad you explained it, because it I wasn't quite sure what was going on in that chapter. Although the part where they talk about we have to do something about this was understandable. I didn't know anything about them. So thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, other than what's presented right there, I don't know a lot about the Tholians either, other than what we're given from the episode of the Tholian Web, and there was a little bit of literature about them given to us in the Enterprise episode, where it's the mirror universe, where they have captured a Tholian and they're torturing it. So I don't know if there's any other than what I haven't even looked to see in Memory Alpha what it has to say about Tholians. Frankly, I'm just kind of like taking what's being given to me right now as like a totally new thing, and that's kind of fun. And then when I have questions, then I'll go look up something. Like I was like, what's an Archer class ship look like? And of course the picture they gave was the Archer class scout ship that we saw in Strange New Worlds, from the first episode of Strange New Worlds. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the Miranda class, of course, is what the Reliant looks like from Wrath of Khan. So.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you that the story does sound like what we expect. So it didn't feel different, or it didn't feel like it wasn't Star Trek. In fact, it feels like it fell right into place. Um, So that was very interesting. What else was I going to say? They did a nice job of this Cervantes Quinn character, who is very conscious of his age.
Yes,
Seems like he
creaking
has,
bones and all sorts of things. Yes.
yeah, and yet he's flying through the galaxy, hanging out with people only to steal from them. They don't know he's going to do that. But he wasn't able to complete his mission. However, he has this ship of his that he relies on and is going to take the long way home just so he doesn't get caught. But he's afraid of this Gantz character.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, maybe he owes money to the guy. Maybe he gambled and he owes him money. But yeah, it's interesting that he fell upon these miners only to see that there's something more to what's going on with them. But they did spend a lot of time describing that chapter, describing his background and who he is more or less, and his arthritic nature, I guess, if you want to call it that. And he's still doing sort of these jobs that are essentially dangerous, middle of the night, I'm going to steal this bunch of stuff. I also liked how they talked about I guess it was a group of crewmen who were on an away mission and they're returning. I hope I'm saying the right ones. And one of them, once they return back to their ship, one of the crewmen has to share, is bunking with another crewman, and that other crewman is not quiet. So he can see that.
So yeah, that's Ming. That's Lieutenant Ming, the AA officer who was doing a job on Ravenar, who's being transported back, and yes, when they throw him into crew quarters with a Tellarite, who seems like a fairly nice guy, except that when he comes in and Zhang is trying to sleep because he's had a long day, and the Tellarite comes in and he's whistling, except that it's described as a very, very high-pitched, nasally whistle, because we've all seen what Tellarites look like from the original series, very great porcine nasal cavities. And so, yes, he finally says, can you please not do that? He kind of, threatens him a little bit. So he decides he's going to get up and read for a while, gets up on the top bunk, and he starts reading. But while he's reading, he's humming, which is the same effect as the whistling almost, because it's very grating. And yes, that's when the lieutenant threatens him. He asks him if his hair has ever been painted pink, and other wonderful things that might make somebody. They didn't get off on the very good foot at all.
No, and sleep time is very important to people. So he decides that he's going to sleep when the other guy's on duty.
Yeah,
that's the only way to do it. Clearly, he's unaware culturally that he's making noise, and it, just is it a decibel that's not. It's beyond the limit of
it's tolerance.
To survive and be happy.
Of course, he's only going to be on board Sagittarius for 72 hours, or not Bombay. He's only going to be aboard Bombay for 72 hours or so, 79 hours, I think it said, as they're heading back to Vanguard. And somewhere in there, he needs to write up his report on his findings on Ravenar 4. So I have to assume that whatever the Federation's doing on that planet has to do with the biosample that was found by Constellation 2 years earlier.
Okay.
So that's my assumption.
But we weren't told what was so special about this sample other than the unusual DNA. Let's say it's an outlier, or maybe has an anomaly from what hasn't been seen before. But I wonder, because the doctor had said, well, we couldn't handle this here. The doctor must be aware that there's something very unique about the sample. So you know.
Yeah, the science officer Masada, he had said that, I mean, this is way beyond anything we've ever encountered before. This is incredible, and it needs to be, you know, taken a look at, because all the planets we've come across, we've never come across anything this complex.
Well, what adds even more mystery to this is that supposedly the station, the science station, according to Spock, was when it was being built, it was a rush job, or
Yes.
it was something that had to be done immediately. And they questioned, he questioned the speed upon which the station was built, but not only the speed, but the location of where the station.
Yes. Yes. This Taurus sector, which finds itself like right smack dab where the Federation and the Tholians and the Klingons intersect. It's highly, you know, it's way out there.
And I guess when they looked in the book, or let's say in the documentation of why it was built, the comment was to improve colonization, you know, or something, or to, you know, promote exploration purposes. But, you know, we know that Spock and Kirk are not convinced that that's the reason why it was built so quickly and in that location. So I wonder if in the story they're going to keep coming back and letting us know that part, because it feels like we're looking in two different time. Are we working in two different times at the same time? Are we looking at two different?
No, I get the feel everything after that prologue is all happening concurrently.
Okay.
Ming took off on the Sagittarius from Ravenar 4, while our rogue guy was busy trying to figure out how to steal Cervantes. Yes, Quinn. While he was trying to figure out how to steal the sensor screen, he makes his attempt. The Starfleet personnel radio to them saying, we need to get, you know, we need to get a replacement screen really fast. I think the screen is supposed to mask some of what they're doing on the planet from anybody else. I think that's what it's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be making it look like they are just a bunch of miners and not Starfleet personnel, so that a general sensor scan, say if the Klingons come through, they would think that they're just miners or something like that instead of Starfleet, because if they go, oh, well, what's Starfleet doing on this planet? You know, that could cause an issue. So that's that's the feeling I'm getting from reading this. They obviously are concerned about the Klingons. They're obviously trying to hide what they're doing somehow on the planet, and don't want it to be caught by anybody.
And at some point, that base was built there because there was suspicion that there was something that Starfleet had to investigate, I guess, 2 years prior to even, you know, it was a rush job to build that space station. So it's very interesting. I wonder what it is. I guess we're gonna find out.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm being. We're kind of led to believe that maybe whatever it is that they're working, you know, that they're mining or looking at or exploring, is what sent this signal out that alerted the Tholians, perhaps. I mean, I get that kind of feeling that they're wrapped all in together, you know. So we'll see, but beyond that, I just like immersing myself in this TOS environment. I've always, you know, that was my first Trek love, was of the TOS stuff. I've always loved it. Hell, you know, they're closing down the Star Wars Galaxy Quest, you know, hotel thing. They've made that announcement that they were going to shut it all down, and that was supposed to be this really immersive, you know, go on a trip for a weekend and live as a Star Wars, you know, in the Star Wars universe. My deepest dream, if I had the money, all the money, would be to build a resort based around being on a Federation starship that would be it would be smack dab in the TOS era, and the staterooms would look just like the staterooms from TOS, and the bridge and the walkways, the transporter engineering, and you would dress like TOS for the weekend, and you would be assigned, jobs, that you would go and do things like adventures on the bridge, or an away mission to a planet, that kind of a thing, for a couple of days. I mean, that would be awesome. And I would pay all the money to do that if I had it. I don't know why. I know that they did this, that thing in Las Vegas. I never got to go to the Star Trek experience. But I heard it was really cool, and that was mostly Next Generation stuff. But I think TOS would hit the spot. But you could also you could do something where half of the resort is TOS and the other half is TNG. And people could decide which ones that they want to be, and the staff would be in character and all that kind of stuff. Don't you think that would be fun?
I think that would be amazing, and it's kind of long overdue. Where would it be best suited? Would Las Vegas still be the best place? Or should it be in another location?
I'm tempted to say maybe Las Vegas, because that's the kind of place you go to kind of like immerse yourself in this type of, stuff, whether it's, gambling, or, going to the casinos, or going to, other sights and sounds that Vegas offers. It seems like it would be, but I don't know what kind of, how expensive it would be to build something. It would be expensive no matter where you build it. But yeah, you definitely want to try and build it somewhere where it's not as expensive to build. But nowadays we're finding out you got to be really careful where you site your stuff, because you might end up in Florida or something like that, and running afoul of the governor, like Disney is right now.
Yeah, that is unfortunate that that's going on. But yeah, it would be great if there was a place we could go to where we could. I know there was a few bridges throughout the country that you can visit. My friend from Heath's Geekverse, he just visited one. I think it's in the South.
Yeah, there's one in Atlanta, if I remember correctly. There's of course the official Star Trek tour, set tour in Ticonderoga, that James Cawley built, and there's also, now I don't know if the one in Atlanta is the same one I'm thinking of. I want to say it's Neutral Zone Studios or something. It's where they filmed the Star Trek Continues episodes that were really, really good and looked, fidelity wise, as far as shooting and special effects and music and everything, it looked just like episodes of the original series.
Right.
Yeah.
This is and I'll just pull this up so we can see it, so you know what I'm talking about. And I think this is the one. Maybe this is the one you're talking about. I just showed it the other day. It says, where is he? He's aboard the Enterprise. Merry Christmas. He doesn't say where it is. But I mean, that looks like the original series.
Yeah.
Right. And there he's, oh, okay. It is. It's Neutral Zone Studios.
Yeah.
Where he was.
Uh-huh.
So that's why he, that's where he is. You can see in the background, and he's got kind of like the yellow shirt on. So it is Neutral Zone Studios. That's where he was at. And
yeah, I mean, what's great about Neutral Zone and the one up in Ticonderoga is that, they have built the sets, and they've tried to remain as true to the studio layout that was at Desilu,
right.
when they originally shot. And that's, so not only are they making it look as authentic as they can, but laying it out so it's like you're on the shooting set. And they have lots of, other fan groups have written and come in and filmed. They rent the studios out and film their own little fan films and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it looks like they're gonna have and they're supposed to have, I'm just gonna pull this up, since, since we're talking about this as our topic, or more or less, we just remember we talk about everything and anything about Star Trek on PGS Tracks. Um, and I just went to the website here, Ticonderoga 2023. They're going to have Star Trek Original Series Set Tour presents Ticonderoga. Oh my goodness gracious! Ticonderoga weekend with
Yeah,
Jonathan
yeah,
Frakes.
because it's Trek Conderoga
That's right.
at
That's right.
Ticonderoga.
And it's in
Wow. Yeah.
August. Look at that. Ed Spielers, um,
John
Jonathan
Deland,
Frakes, Brett
Jonathan
Spiner.
Frakes, Brett Spiner, yeah. Um, Shatner goes there on a regular basis, usually right after. Is it right before or right after Comic Con? He usually does a special weekend there, and Darren Doctorman from the Trexperts, who also did a lot of work on Picard the last couple of seasons, he is often there with them, and they give kind of like a tag team tour of the sets.
That sounds fantastic. And it
Yeah,
is such a beautiful area up there. It is way up in upstate New York, but
yeah.
it looks like that's going to be a fun event. I wouldn't mind meeting Ed Spielers. Um, you
How
know,
how how long of a drive is that? Is Ticonderoga from where you're at out there?
it's far. It's not close. Yeah, it's probably about 6 or 7 hours. Let me just see.
So that's like an overnight trip for you.
Yeah, it would be. I probably take the train.
Uh-huh. Oh, even funner.
Yeah, I'd probably take the train there. Let's see. Let me see if I'm correct. I gotta pick one. Directions.
'Cause I've told Cynthia if we ever make it out to New York, I have to go to Ticonderoga to the Trek
It's
tour.
5.5 hours, so that's a
Yeah,
6 hour drive.
yeah.
So,
So I
and
mean, I think that's the plan. Then is someday in the future we have to come out to New York for a vacation, and you and I and Cynthia, we have to take the train up to Ticonderoga and go to the Trek tour.
absolutely consider it done. Consider, yes, if you come to New York, it's going to happen.
Yes,
So just put it on your list. That
yes,
you will be doing that, especially if you guys came in August for this. That would be unbelievable. But you come back
yeah,
with me
yeah.
from San Diego.
I'm afraid we can't this year. We're actually going out to Catalina in August. That's
Oh
our trip.
wow,
Yeah,
that's so nice.
yeah.
Certainly, you guys are going to enjoy that immensely. But yeah, it is fun to talk about these different places um, that this is happening. And you'll notice that in this picture, they're all wearing like the updated leather jackets that we've been talking about, and looking
Yeah.
very, very sharp. I mean, those jackets look amazing. You did send me a link about the jackets, and
Yeah.
I did look at them, and of course, they're the jackets that, let's say, right now, from what we're seeing, those jackets are pleather, like a vegan leather or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the My Hero, I think, was the company that's doing the one that's definitely looks pleathery. There is um, another company, New American Leather, I think is what it's called. I have it on
Mm,
my iPad, so I don't have it here. They actually look like leather. They certainly have a price that's more like an actual leather jacket. They look better, um, but they didn't have actual. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Uh, Most of their other, I was looking at their other um, products that they already sell, and they look really good as far as leather jackets and stuff. And I sent them communication asking, not these guys, but the New American Leather. I asked them, if they would do custom jobs, and they said yes, you can do a custom
oh,
job. I
really?
I was trying to find out. you know, a lot of these when these companies they start up, you know, suddenly they've got this product like right as the show is coming out, and you have to wonder how reliable they might be.
Right.
So I was trying to look up to see if that new American Leather was a scam company or not, and I'm kind of in between on that right now. So I didn't do anything. But besides, most of my money has gone into I ordered a uniform top and pants and a new comm badge so that I'll have for Picard, so that I'll have those um,
Comic
for
Con.
Comic Con, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was some money, and then I had to order. I'm trying to get my black Star Wars black officers uniform together too. So I my my card has been getting quite the workout. Yeah, see this new American jackets. Yeah, see how much better that looks compared to the other one.
Yeah, this looks really good. This looks
Yeah,
really good. I can see that. I mean, and it says it's real leather. They even have the symbol on it. It looks really good.
yeah, yeah,
Perforated shoulder patches, pockets inside. It does look like real leather. I just want to see if I can look at the back part of it. That looks great.
yeah.
That looks like
So I'd rather go with these guys, you know, if I could find, you know, make sure I trust them. Um, but I think it looks a lot better. They didn't the last time I looked, they didn't have those pictures.
really
They only had the pictures of the crew in the
right.
jacket. So and you're like, well, that's just a cast picture, wearing actual, you know, costume pieces. So how can I tell what yours is going to look like? So the fact that they have those additions, that is new to the site. So that's kind of cool. I'll have to go back and look at that again.
And look at the
Because you see
sizes.
down in the corner, yeah, when you go down and you get sizes, and there's this thing custom size, and
Yeah.
is an additional $40. And so I said, with the custom size, where do you put in your specific measurements? And they said there would be an area to put the measurements in when you're doing the ordering.
And of course, this is the actual jacket in question. And just
Yeah,
looking at it and looking at this picture here, what they did, that looks exactly like the same jacket.
yeah, yeah. I'd really love to that. If I got that, man, I'd have the whole freaking kit and caboodle. Because I'm getting a red top and the red tunic top,
Yeah.
and I'll be wearing I'll get the mock turtleneck shirt that goes underneath it, and I've got the pants on the way. Um, the communicator badge. Um, the only ones I could find in that style right now are pinback, instead of the magnetic. And then there was one I thought it's at the Star Trek shop, the official Star Trek site. Um, it's an actual magnet. It's not a prop piece. It's an actual magnet for putting up on your refrigerator type of
Wow.
magnet. And I'm like, well, if it's 1-to-1 size, I might be able to do something with that. So
No, that sounds unbelievable. I
yeah,
can't wait to see what else these guys make. Obviously, this one that they made for Riker, it looks amazing. This is the same thing that he's wearing.
oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
and it's
it's a
and
good
it, and
looking
the
jacket.
price is not, this could have been a $500 jacket if they wanted to do that.
Yeah,
I'm surprised at the price. Like, it seems reasonable. It looks reasonable. It looks really good.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
even I mean, this is a sale price. It looks like it was going for $199, so just under $200. Still pretty good for a custom leather jacket like that.
Yeah, let's just be honest. I mean, buying any kind of jacket, you're going to spend $100 on a decent jacket, a leather jacket now.
Hmm.
Something it's got a lot of details, Julian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And
I
that, I
can't wait to
mean,
see
and
what else.
my hero, not to say they're bad. I mean, I have a bomber that I got from them at the last Comic Con. Picard bomber, and I love it. It's a great jacket. It's keeps me warm when I need it, and it's comfy. It's nice and plushy, and it's a great jacket. But that the pictures that they're showing of this particular style of jacket just doesn't hold a candle to what they're offering here.
Yeah, and I just wanted to show this. I know that I did see that. I would like to see. I mean, if they do, if anybody does make the and this does look amazing. This looks amazing. I want to see this uniform. Of course, I'm sure someone has made it, but I want to see this one. And of course, this is Jerry Ryan wearing that uniform.
Mhm.
I really want to pick up that uniform. I think it looks great too. And then the combination jacket, like it's such a great set. Like it's styled so nicely.
So
Um,
I ordered the top and the pants off of a site on Amazon. I
oh,
think it
you
was
did?
yeah, they were available on Amazon. I think was it Amazon or was it eBay? I can't remember. Maybe it was eBay.
It was Picard season 3.
Yeah,
Um,
I just put that into my search in Google and then did the and then I found it. There's a company called Con also, which is where I'm going to get the half mock turtleneck top, because it's the only place I can find it.
well, I found this, and I'll just show you this briefly. This kind of looks like something very similar, Julian. And you said that you, guys, this is not official. This is just a simple search on Amazon, guys. So I'm not endorsing this.
Yes.
Saying if you want to, if I found something similar on there. That one is the Picard one. It says it's leather.
Yeah.
And we can kind of see some of the, obviously that's a Geordie. They're showing you all different ones. Black and yellow, black and blue. They have one that's black and blue.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like
Diana.
wearing it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my God. Okay.
So yeah, I remember I came across that one too, and I'm not quite sure about the company. So again, there's
Yeah,
always
no,
kind of,
I totally understand. I'm just saying, guys, there might be some deals there. We are not endorsing, we're not endorsing anyone to do that. We're just saying if you keep looking, you might find some uniforms. Certainly the Burnettwork is not saying to do that, to get that one. We're just saying that there might be some out there for you guys who are interested in looking for uniforms from Picard season 3, because it's been so cool. It's been so awesome. And I wouldn't mind a t-shirt or something as well. So I might look and see if I can find something like that and wear that to Comic-Con as well, because that would be kind of fun. Yeah. Well, Julian, I have to say, it's exciting to see Comic-Con just being really a month or so away. Of course, we're going to be there at Comic-Con. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
2 months. 2 months.
yeah, pretty much 2 months
Yeah.
from now, since we're May, June, and then July.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner. Julian, was there anything else you wanted to talk about on PGS Treks today?
I think that is all that we've got right now that needs to be covered. And of course, we'll
Excellent.
be looking for more as the days go. We'll keep looking. The news cycle is going to be. I think they're going to be really concentrating on the Resurgence game when that comes out. And other than that, with the strike and everything, it's going to be really hard to. Of course, Strange New Worlds will be coming out in June, real shortly, and they'll start ramping up, things to get people excited about that.
When do the episodes premiere?
I can't remember exactly. It's like June. It's early June, like June. I want to say 6th or 7th, something like that.
Is it late night episodes, Julian?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it warrants that.
No, okay. So we can do it after the day after. We can.
Yeah, at a more relatively saner time for the two of us.
Okay, great.
Just the two of us.
Yeah. So, guys, we will be covering Strange New Worlds episodes, but we will not be watching them, unfortunately, at 3 a.m. in the morning or anything like that. We're going to be following it the day after and reviewing them, doing our watch party, and then a review maybe right afterwards. So,
Yeah.
so that is coming, and we are going to continue our Harbinger series going forward. We got to chapter 5. And Julian, you will tell me where you think we should go in the next segment, which we haven't finalized yet. But guys, we're going to continue the Harbinger series. It's going to be fantastic. So far, so good. The book is. So I'm excited to read more about it. You know, we talked about some of the other sites that you can go and visit and see Trek. And we talked about this Ticonderoga event in August, which looks pretty darn good, if you ask me. It's exciting. I wouldn't mind meeting Ed Spieler. Do you think he's going to be at Comic-Con? Julian, do you think Ed Spielers might be there in
Could
San Diego?
be. Could be. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people kind of feel like Paramount hasn't been showing a lot of love to Picard season 3, as much love as is warranted for the excitement that it generated. I mean, heck, the show is the first of the new the current Trek shows to pop into the top 10 as far as, you know, interest and ratings and an amount of people that are watching it, you know. So um, that really should warrant a little bit more interest from Paramount, or at least from the you know, from Alex Kurtzman and co. But they've got, between the strike and their stock issues, you know, their money capital issues that they've got going on. I think they've got a lot of other things that they have to concern themselves with. So, yeah.
They certainly do, Julian. And Julian, where can people find you?
They can find me here on the Burnettwork, and they can also find me on Facebook, Julian Mushkin on Facebook, and shoot me a line there if they want. And if my daughter has her way, I just might start an Instagram account. So who knows? So branch out a little bit more. I don't really feel like going into the Twitterverse as it stands right now. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, no worries. That's fine. Guys, you can always contact Julian here. He will be here at the Burnettwork. So if you need to reach out to him, you can do that. You guys can always find me, RM, at the Burnettwork or at Positive Fandom. And guys, of course, let's keep our fingers crossed for Star Trek Resurgence in the next few hours. If it resurges or it comes out somewhere on the PlayStation, I will be playing it tonight. So let's see how that goes. And guys, thank you all for watching. Everybody.
Can I say one thing? I wanted to suggest any of our viewers, if they are reading along with us or have read the book already, if they have comments that they want to put in where we're going, you know, what they think about the story so far, that would be kind of fun to see. To see how to get a little bit of that interaction with our viewers, to see if they are interacting with the book along with us, or have read it and liked it in the past, and see what they thought about it.
That sounds like an excellent idea, guys. Please do share your thoughts and views on the book. If you are reading Harbinger now, have already read it, have comments or views, that's why we are covering the books here on PGS Treks, because we want to hear what your thoughts are as well. So please do that, guys. Julie and I will return to our live shows once Strange New World starts, which would be in a month, right, Julian? So
Yeah.
we'll be doing live shows to cover those, and they'll be at a normal hours, not at 3 a.m. in the morning, but we certainly will continue to cover everything and anything Trek here on the Burnettwork. Julian, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me, RM.
It's a pleasure, guys. And guys, always remember, live long and prosper. And no matter where you are in the galaxy, always remember to please be kind. Take care, everybody.
Cheers.